What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so let me say before I go forward with this particular video, if you're one of my patrons and you sent out a video request, and if I haven't done the video in about 4 to 5 days, then it's not that I ignored you. It's legitimately I probably forgot the video request. When people donate and send a video request, I'm actively looking at those things to see if I missed any. But I don't always check my my Patreon messages as often. So sometimes I may forget that those were requests. You know what I'm saying? So just remind me, you know what I'm saying, if you're on Patreon, just say, hey, Jura, sent the video request to you about 4 days ago. I think you forgot. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and knock this out because I get a lot of requests now. So we're about to see an NBA Finals that I'm pretty sure the NBA hierarchy hate. Okay? They don't, these guys like to be in major market cities. And they want to be in LA. They want to be in Miami. They want to be in New York. Okay? They don't want to be in Indianapolis or Oklahoma City. But this is a new generation of basketball players taking over the league. And these players are really good. And these two teams are really great. And I don't know who's going to win the NBA championship. I guess if I had to give an advantage, it's going to be the Thunder. But the Pacers have proven to me they are a really, really good team. But let's talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning league MVP. And one of my patrons asked me a question. He said, well, if the Thunder do go on to win the NBA championship, is Shai automatically a top 5 all-time point guard? Okay. Now, what's so interesting about Shai is that, honestly, I sometimes forget he's considered a point guard. He's more of a combo guard to me. But yeah, he's technically a point guard. Like Steph Curry is technically a point guard. And this Thunder team, 68-14 during the regular season, tied for the 5th best record in NBA history. This Thunder team has one of the great defenses we've ever seen. This Thunder team has the NBA record for most 20-point blowout games in a season. And they have, I think they had the NBA record, but they kind of blew it a little bit at the end. I think they're second. I think they're either number one. I got to look into it again. I think they're either number one in the regular season for point differential, but when you include the playoffs, I think they're number 2 behind the 96 Bulls, right? So let me say before I go forward, I got a guy that's really salty about my take about the 2025 Thunder versus 96 Bulls, right? I clearly said in that video, if the Bulls were playing by today's rules and today's style of basketball, with the roster that they had then, I think they're at a disadvantage. The reason I said this is because the 96 Bulls, their roster was specifically created for that time and the style of basketball that we had then. If you put the Thunder in the 90s, I think the Bulls win. If you put the Bulls in the 2025 era, I think the Thunder win. And I think the Thunder's three-point shooting and their depth would pose a problem for the Bulls in this era. I do. The Bulls were not a noted great three-point shooting team. And I'm just being honest. That's not a knock on Michael Jordan. I'm not saying Shai's better than Jordan, but I got this guy with a hair up his fucking ass because he didn't like my take about the Bulls. But anyway, let's see. So let's say if the Thunder do win the championship, right? If the Thunder do win the championship, That means that Shai will have an NBA championship. And let's go with him winning finals MVP. Let's say that he wins finals MVP, an NBA championship, and a league MVP all in the same season, where only a handful of players have done that. Larry Bird, 1986. Hakeem Olajuwon, 1994. Shaq, 2000. Tim Duncan, 2003. LeBron James did it twice, 2012, 2013. Michael Jordan did it 4 times, 1991, 1992, 96, and 98. So that's a very rare honor. And also, if you look at Shai's resume, if that is achieved, along with the NBA championship and the Finals MVP, and the league MVP, and the scoring championship, he will also be a 3-time All-Star, 3 times All-NBA. As great as that is, I don't think one great season is enough to warrant somebody being a top 5 point guard all the time. Especially when you consider that when it comes to, and I said before with Steph, this wasn't just something to me. I didn't just say it to exclude Steph because I didn't personally like him or anything like that. When I think of point guards, I think of Magic Johnson. I think of John Stockton. I think of Jason Kidd. You know, Kevin Johnson, Kevin Porter. Not the Kevin Porter playing today, but the Kevin Porter from the 70s and 80s. I think of Guy Rogers. I think of Bob Cousy. Floor generals, great facilitators, great passers. You know, guys that control tempo of the game. You know, even guys with scoring abilities that were good passers and facilitators. Gary Payton, Tim Hardaway. You know, hell, Iverson I think was an underrated point guard when he would play in that style. I just don't see an argument when you put Shai ahead of Magic after 1 year, right? You don't put him ahead of. Let's just go with Steph Curry, the second position, right? Even though I have my arguments against that, right? I don't think you put Shai ahead of Steph. I don't think you put Shai ahead of Oscar all time, right? So that's 3 point guards. I don't think you put Shai ahead of Isaiah Thomas. So that's 4 ahead of him, right? So that's max 5, right? Do you really think that he should be ahead of Stockton after this one great year? Historically, after all the things Stockton did, back-to-back NBA Finals, what was it, 9 assist titles, 3 steals titles, one of the most formidable duos in history of the NBA. He was part of a tandem that led the Utah Jazz to be competitive in a deep Western Conference from the days of Showtime Lakers to the days of Dirk Nowitzki's Mavericks. That's a very long period of excellence. Do you think that one season negates that? Do you think he should be ahead of 2-time NBA champion Walt Frazier, even though he's a Michael Jordan hater? Do you think that he should be ahead of Nate Archibald and Bob Cousy? I just don't see that. I need to see a couple of more years of excellence, and not even necessarily championships, but excellent all-star or superstar level play from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I do think with an MVP award, he's knocking on the top 10. He's knocking on the top 10. But let's put this into perspective. If I'm having a problem putting a 3-time league MVP and Nikola Jokic in a top 5 center position in conversation, and I have him like maybe at the lower part of the top 10 right now, why on earth would I put Shai top 5 already in point guards? I don't even have ahead of Russell Westbrook right now, historically. Russ has an MVP. Russ doesn't have a championship yet, but Russ has an MVP. And nobody's in a hurry to put Russ top 5. You get laughed at. Even though Russ has 4 seasons of triple-double, something nobody's ever done before. Even though he's probably going to retire as one of 2 players with 25,000 points and 10,000 assists. But nobody sees Russ as a top 5. So no, I still wouldn't have Shai a top 5 point guard, even if they won a championship and he won Finals MVP. But let's say they repeat, then, I still probably wouldn't have him top 5, but I probably would have him just outside of top 5 if he won a second title. And also was Finals MVP for a second time. Then I would probably have him maybe, because I just reward longevity personally. I reward longevity more so than I want to be a prisoner of the moment. You know what I mean? I remember, just to show you how much of a prisoner of the moment we can all be at times, I remember ESPN, I remember basketball fans comparing Jeremy Lin to Michael Jordan. And if you thought it was outlandish at the time, you would have been called a racist against Asians. Remember that? Remember content creators, those who was making videos back then? If we dared say that was sacrilege, we were being called racist. So, like I said, I'll never want to be a prisoner of the moment. I'm not saying I've never been guilty of that to a certain extent, but no, I don't think that a championship run, as amazing as this season has been for Shai, makes him a top 5 point guard. But that's just my take on it. Tell me what you guys think.